Low-impact development, or LID, is really a set of strategies and practices that are designed to help sites mimic natural hydrology and also to protect and improve water quality. LID practices generally fall into two categories. They're small structural practices that are distributed throughout a site to help capture and treat stormwater runoff. And they're also a set of non-structural practices that are designed to help reduce and disconnect the impervious surfaces that generate stormwater runoff and the pollutants that are carried into our surface water bodies. For Santuit Pond, the majority of the land use around the pond is residential, so homeowners can play a big part in implementing LID practices on their own property. And that consists of practices such as implementing rain barrels to capture their runoff from their rooftops. And they can do things like minimizing their lawn area and also reducing the amount of fertilizer, herbicides and pesticides that are used on their property, again, to really reduce the amount of pollutants that are generated from their lots. Another major source of stormwater to Santuit Pond is the network of roads in the neighborhoods around the pond. So the roads convey stormwater from people's homes, their driveways, their lawns, and that stormwater that's generated ends up going into catch basins, which are located in the road. One of the issues with the catch basins is that they tend to become covered with leaves and sediment as they collect that runoff over time. And if they're not maintained frequently, what can happen is that the stormwater can tend to bypass those catch basins and go downhill, eventually ending up in the pond itself. Many of the catch basins in Mashpee and around Santuit Pond are what's known as infiltrating or leaching catch basins, which means they have an open bottom or they have holes inside the structure that allows stormwater to actually infiltrate into the ground. So that really reduces the volume of runoff and the pollutants that make their way to the pond. But again, if they're covered in leaves, those structures simply can't do their job, and runoff tends to pass by them and end up down, causing road flooding or pollutants that are entering into the water body directly from either overland flow or erosion caused by simply too much water accumulating at the low point.
The easiest thing people can do from a homeowner basis is stop fertilizing your property. It's totally within your control. Doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it saves you money. A unfertilized lawn doesn't contribute to water quality problems, doesn't require you to spend money on fertilizers and herbicides, doesn't require you to spend money getting that lawn mowed. So financially it's better for the homeowner, and it improves the quality of the pond. At APCC, we have a lot of information on our website, apcc.org, that gives tips to homeowners on how they can minimize their impact on water quality, regardless of where they live, but especially if they live close to freshwater ponds.
My name is Kristen Andres. I'm the Associate Director for the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. A rain garden is simply a garden planted in a shallow depression that receives stormwater. And typically in a residential setting, the stormwater is going to be roof runoff from a gutter downspout. The rain garden will accept the stormwater and slow it down and allow it to infiltrate into the ground around the root systems of the plants that are planted there. So it helps purify the water, the soils grab hold of any contaminants, and the plants and the soil organisms help take up nutrients. The key elements to a rain garden are to situate a rain garden where the soils are well drained. You don't want water to be standing for any extended period of time. The water should be able to infiltrate. The other extremely important key part of a rain garden is the native plants because of their extensive root systems. Native plants are the best choice for rain gardens because they do have very deep root systems, and around each of those little rootlets is an air pore or an air space, and that's what allows the rainwater to soak into the ground efficiently. And that rainwater then not only hydrates the plants, but it hydrates the soil organisms that then help the plants take up the nutrients. When we site a rain garden on a residential lot, the best place to do it is obviously where there's going to be a gutter downspout to sort of feed the rain garden with the stormwater. But we also want to situate the rain garden so that it's a good 10 feet from a foundation of a building so that it doesn't incur any water damage. So native plants are really important to include in a rain garden because many of our native plants are drought tolerant, and of course they're adapted to our soils. They can do very well from those periods of drought to deluge when we do have a big rainstorm. And native plants also support local food webs. They're going to support pollinators like wild bees and butterflies, and not only support them with pollen and nectar, but as part of their life cycle. And then in turn they also support birds. So birds that eat the insects and birds that might consume the seeds of the native plants in the winter. So native plants are really an important component of a rain garden for all of the ecological reasons as well as their natural function in helping purify water and helping water infiltrate into the soil.